How's it going, everyone? It's General Tariel, your coach of the Charlotte Card Banks, bringing you the APA Season 6 Draft Analysis. Now, this will be the first video I upload to my YouTube channel, so if you could show some support, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going on with the draft, on the right-hand side and pulled up on Showdown, you see my team. Now, for Season 6, we did introduce Generation 7 Pokemon, but having the draft position number 11, I unfortunately did not get any Generation 7 Pokemon that were of my interest, or they did not suit my team later on. Now, for Season 6, the commissioners of the APA, Mightykus and Panther, did introduce Totem Pokemon, which is a Tier 4 or Tier 5 of our choosing that starts before the initial draft. The order for this was based on our record for the previous season, APA Season 5, where we were so close to playoffs, but we didn't unfortunately make it, so we had spot number 8 for the Totem pick. And some people wanted to pick stuff that would help their cores, or just strong Tier 4 or Tier 5 Pokemon, of course. But some people did get joke Pokemon. I just got something I wanted to experiment with, which was Exploud. Exploud, our boy Caps Lock here, is very good for one move, and that is just Boom Burst. A base 140 special attack before stab is very strong, because we can just slap choice specs on Exploud, and then he just hits like a monster. He can one-hit KO and two-hit KO just a bunch of Pokemon. And if they have the resistances, that's fine. We can hopefully hit Focus Blast, because the only resistances are Steel and Rock, because we have Scrappy, which means Boom Burst can even hit those Ghost types. Expel just has an amazing move pool to go along with it. He's got access to the Ice type coverage, the Fire type, Ground type if we want to run a physical Exploud, or a mix. Anything's possible. He's also got access to the Shadow Ball, Thunder Punch, and important moves that can stop things that actually try to wall Exploud, such as Taunt and Toxic. These two moves can help us stop them from healing up and trying to just stall Exploud, or Toxic to wear down the threats. And then we can also set up a substitute which forces them to try to take us on instead of just trying to stall Exploud. Now, moving on to the actual first round draft. For number 11 in the draft order, we still managed to pick up Kyurem Black. This thing is a mixed wall-breaking monster, and I'm looking forward to using it this season. Dragon and Ice type with the ability Terravolt. This makes it so the opponent's ability is ignored, such as Mold Breaker. So if you got a Mega Venusaur on the other team, has Thick Fat, doesn't matter, we're going to hit it with that Stab Ice Beam. And then it's going to do 75% to that Venusaur like it's nothing, because we just ignore that Thick Fat. It's super effective no matter what. Such as Rotom Wash also having that ability Levitate. Doesn't matter, we can hit it with an Earth Power and just destroy it. Kyurem Black, I just want to point out some amazing stats. It's got that base 170 attack and then 120 special attack. The 120 special attack's already good, and then you got that massive 170 attack, which makes it amazing. If this thing had access to like Avalanche or like Icicle Crash, it would be insane. But Kyurem's limited to using that Ice Beam or Blizzard, which honestly is the only reason it's an OU and not Uber. But only having that base 95 speed is kind of unfortunate. Of course, it'd be more broken if it had base 100 or more. Kyurem Black can easily run Scarf, though, to handle those threats that are above its speed tier. And Kyurem Black also has some decent bulk in it with 125 HP, that's nothing to laugh at, with decent defense and pretty good special defense. And its move pool is beautiful, with the main stab you're going to be looking for in Dragon is Draco Meteor, Dragon Claw, and Outrage. And then you have Ice Beam for the Ice Stab. He's got access to Earth Power, Flash Cannon, Focus Blast, and Signature Fusion Bolt since he's part Zekrom. That's a good physical stab move. Not stab, but a strong physical move for Kyurem that gives it just amazing coverage. He also gets access to Roost, which is very helpful, because an ideal thing for Kyurem Black is to run Life Orb in order for him to be mixed, so we don't have to run Bandit or Specs. We can do either one, and then we do a decent amount of damage. And then we regain that 10% health back with Roost. Of course, we get 50 back, but 10% from the Life Orb. And then this also helps because Kyurem is 25% weak to rocks, which is kind of unfortunate, but we make do with that. With our next draft pick, which is Excadrill, another Pokemon that we got, which I'm looking forward to. An amazing spinner, Ground and Steel. Also gets access to Stealth Rocks. Excadrill is very good. It gets the abilities Mold Breaker, similar to Terravolt once again. So we get Stab Earthquakes on Pokemon that have Levitate, but we just ignore that, such as Rotom Wash, Electros, etc. And then he also gets the ability Sand Rush, which is doubled speed in sand, which we might be capable of doing with another Pokemon on our team. Excadrill is a very good Scarfer. It can also be run special defensively, and it can be Sand Rush Sweep with Swords Dance and Life Orb. Gets access to the Stab Earthquake, and then you want to have the Iron Head. Rapid Spin is ideal for Excadrill when if you don't have another form of hazard removal, which we need for our boy Kieran Black and other Pokemon on our team. Swords Dance makes it to where it can just sweep Pokemon later on, and it's just got some coverage moves that aren't as strong, but it can be helpful for a fill-in move if we're trying to counter the opponent. And now moving on, I noticed that we needed a Fighting Resist, and I saw this Pokemon on Tier 2 that I've been waiting to use, Reuniclus. This thing is very bulky, and it's going to be very helpful to us. Being Psychic type, we just eat those physical fighting type attacks, and then we can just destroy him back. Reuniclus has a nice freaking base defensive and special attack stats with base 125 special attack and decent defenses, but that nice HP to where it levels out. This thing can still be a wall. It gets access to Recover where it can stay in and it doesn't have to worry about anything. It gets Thunder Wave, Toxic, Trick if I want to know choice specs with Trick. And then it's got the abilities. Overcoat is alright, it can ignore the powder moves, Sandstorm, Hail, etc. Magic Art is the main one we're looking at because this allows us to set up with Calm Mind and not have to worry about Toxic. We can ignore spikes and Stealth Rocks that are out on the field. It doesn't matter if we get burned. Paralysis will still be a pain, of course, but that's alright, we can make do. And then we also have Regenerator, so I can just have Reuniclus come in and take a hit if I want, and then switch right back out, pulling a double, predicting the opponent. Moving on to its move pool. It's alright, it's got pretty good coverage. We're mainly looking at Psychic and Psyshock for the stab that hits pretty hard, depending on whether or not their answer is going to be defensive or a special defensive answer. Got Energy Ball, Flash Cannon, Focus Blast, if we're capable of hitting it once again. And then I can have a Screen Reuniclus with Light Clay, that could be helpful. There's that beautiful Recover that we're going to be looking forward to. Shadow Ball, of course. And then the amazing status moves down here that are going to be very helpful to the team. And then moving on, I still wanted the Fighting Resist and another scary Pokemon for my opponents to just quiver in fear, and that's Mega Pinsir. Mega Pinsir is a very, very strong Pokemon with the ability Aerialate, so that normal type moves become 1.2 times before stab, which makes it very strong. We got Quick Attack, Return, Double Edge if we want, makes it very strong. Mega Pinsir's got a nice base 155 attack, which just hits any Pokemon on the other team like a bus. And then he's got that nice base 105 speed that just outspeeds the base 100s that we're kind of looking forward to outspeeding. He's got the move pool. We're looking for the normal stab, of course, with such as Quick Attack, Double Edge, Return. He also gets access to Close Combat and Earthquake to take on resistances in the Rock and Steel. He also is mainly capable, and this is a threatening part, setting up Substitute and just Swords Dancing and sweeping away the opponent. That is what Mega Pinsir is looking forward to do, and Mega Pinsir is weak, 4 times weak to rocks, but that is why we have Excadrill in the back, who can handle those and take care of it for him. So we already have Excadrill supporting both Kieran Black and Mega Pinsir. Moving on, I just realized I need more bulk, because Reuniclus is a pretty good Bulkymon, but I still need more. And I also wanted to start my Fire, Grass, and Water Core. So I picked up Chestnut, our boy Boozer here. You cannot say no that this guy does not look like Bowser, alright? My main in Smash 4, take it on, I dare you. But, Chestnut, a very good defensive wall. Solid stats, not so good special defensively. Got that 4 times weakness to flying, which is kind of unfortunate. But I was looking forward to looking to Chestnut because I wanted a good solid grass type, and I also wanted more hazards. And Chestnut gets access to spikes, which is very helpful. And nothing's better than dropping a Leech Seed on some Pokemon to get some health back. He can run Power Up Punch, Drain Punch for his fighting coverage. I can Belly Drum Sweep with Chestnut if I want to. Sadly, since he's more of a physical grass, he's mainly looking forward into Seed Bomb or Wood Hammer for his stab grass type moves. Chestnut is mainly here for a defensive answer. and not Spadef, which we'll be getting to for our Spadef answer. He also gets access to his signature move, Spiky Shield, which is very helpful. He's also capable of Swords Dancing, even though we're not looking forward to that. He can Synthesis to regain his health besides Leech Seed and Drain Punch. Taunt to stop any opposing Pokemon that might want to set up on this thing, or try to get up more hazards on my side of the field. And ability-wise for Chestnut, we're mainly going to run Bulletproof. Makes it so Pokemon like Mega Venusaur and Amoonguss can't run Sludge Bomb. They have to run Sludge, which is weaker in damage, and that's going to be very important to a game. It also makes it so we're immune to like Shadow Ball. So if someone wants to hit Reuniclus with a Shadow Ball, if I predict it, I can go right into Chestnut, and it's going to do nothing. And moving on to the rest of the draft, I picked up my Solid Water type, Milotic. This thing is very bulky, and it is a very good Pokemon. With the ability Marvel Scale, if they status Milotic, it is a mistake, especially if we get Burn, since Burn was nerfed this generation. Our defense gets times 1.5 if we are statused, and that just makes Milotic very strong because we already have a solid HP and special defense. So if we get that defense raised, Milotic just becomes unstoppable. Now, it does have a very good move pool in getting that main Scald stab, because Scald's looking good, even though the Burn nerf Scald is still very helpful for physical attackers. You got Ice Beam to take on certain dragon types, of course. You also get Dragon Tail, even though we're not a physical attacking Pokemon. Milotic can use Dragon Tail if I have Spikes from Chestnut up or Stealth Rocks from, say, Excadrill up. So that way they're taking damage over time and they're not capable of getting an answer into Milotic. We can also set up coils with Milotic if we want, even though, once again, we're not going to be run physical. Magic Coat can counter are one of my favorite moves in the game, just because Milotic is a good special defense tank. So even though you think Thunderbolt is a super effective move that can probably kill Milotic, it might not, and then we just Magic Coat it back, and then boom. Oh my god. I totally messed up there. It's not Magic Coat, it's Mirror Coat. Okay, I'm not redoing this recording, so we're sticking with it. I meant Mirror Coat all the way down here. Because you think you can take on Milotic, but then in the end, you're just getting hit with your own damage back. Milotic also gets access to Haze, which makes it so it can eat a hit from a Pokemon that tried to set up and then eliminate their stat changes. Very helpful. And then we get our main form of recovery from Recover, which is very helpful, so that we can stay in on the things that we are a direct answer to. And then we got Toxic to wear down anything that might be a threat to us. We got the Substitute if we want to run a slightly offensive Milotic, because it also has access to Competitive. So if I predict the opponent trying to defog, as in it tries to lower my, or an Intimidate, if defog tries to lower my evasion so that they can get rid of their hazards, it's going to be countered with a +2 special attack from Milotic, which is going to be very helpful. Or if they have an Intimidate Pokemon such as Arcanine, I come in on that, predicting it. If they lower my stat at all, I get a +2 special attack, which is going to be very helpful. But Milotic, we're mainly going to be using it as a tank option for the team, because I am lacking that right now. Moving on to the fire type of the team, we have Chandelure, also a good ghost type for spin blocking. Chandelure is a good special attacking wall breaker with a base 145 special attack. Once again, we're having a very hyper offensive team here for Season 6, and I'm looking forward to it. For the abilities, we have Flash Fire, which makes it so if I predict a Will-O-Wisp or any fire type move that might be heading for, say, my Chestnut or my Excadrill or something of the sort, I can switch into Chandelure, and then our fire type moves are going to be boosted. And nothing can almost handle, say, a Specs, Modest, Max Special Attack, Chandelure with Overheat with a Flash Fire. That is some real damage right there. And then we also have access to Infiltrator, so we ignore Substitute, Reflect, Light Screen, Aurora Veil if they have Alolan Ninetales. It's just going to be so helpful. It's got a decent move pool. You're mainly going to be looking at Flamethrower and Shadow Ball for the team, for the move pool. And then it also gets access to Dark Pulse, Energy Ball to hit those water types, Hex in case I get status on their team, Memento if I want to set up with another Pokemon such as Mega Pinsir or Excadrill, Taunt, so I can take on anything that tries to wall Chandelure in its massive special attack. Trick, so if I run Choice Scarf or Choice Specs, I am capable of stopping walls from coming in if they have leftovers, or if it's Chansey with an Eviolite, they get stopped because they're not meant to run a Choice Specs or Choice Scarf, which is very good. And then we also get the status in Toxic and Will-O-Wisp, which would be very helpful. And then moving on, I noticed I needed another Rock Setter, and then specifically this Pokemon got a buff in Generation 7 that helps out my team. Gigalith is going to be a decent Rock Setter, but also going to be there for our Sand Setter for Excadrill, so I can sweep with Excadrill. Now you're looking at the real threats of the team. Gigalith is a pretty good Pokemon. It's got decent HP, solid defense, and solid attack. It lacks in special defense, of course, and its lack of speed because it's a giant rock. But we can make do. I can run a AV Gigalith just to bring in sand if I don't want to run rocks on it, which is pretty good, because then I can still handle the special attacks and be a defensive bulk Pokemon. For his move pool, he's not running much. We're mainly just going to be running Rock Stab, Stealth Rocks, and then probably some form of coverage for any possible answers they may have. Gigalith isn't here to be an offensive threat, it's mainly here to be a supportive Pokemon. And I noticed we need Fairy and another Defogger or Rapid Spinner, but I was mainly looking for Defog because we don't want to be forced to run Rapid Spin on Excadrill every single week. So I picked up Togetic for a solid tier 4. Togetic is a good Eviolite Pokemon, bringing both bulk and cleric support with Heal Bell, and it also has the Wish potential with Baton Pass. It is not a hard-hitting Pokemon, unfortunately. We might just have to run Stab, Dazzling Gleam, or Air Slash. We can still run that Serene Grace, but we're not going to be like Togekiss. We're not going to outspeed many things and get flinch hacks. And we do get status in Toxic and Thunder Wave still. And then we also get access to Tailwind, which can be very helpful. We have the health regen in both Soft Boiled and Roost, which is very good. Or the Wish, like I said, if we want to pass it on to other certain Pokemon. Even though our HP stat is not that strong, any Wish support can be helpful. Ability wise, we're not looking for much for Togetic. We're just probably Serene Grace just in case we do want to Air Slash something and possibly flinch it. But Togetic is mainly here for Defog and Cleric support. And noticing my team, I needed more speed because Sandrush, Excadrill, and Mega Pinsir are pretty good, but you need a solid speed to worry about it. So I picked up Raichu in our tier 5. Also need an electric type. We also get another electric immunity besides Excadrill, so we got a Lightning Rod now for immunity. That raises our special attack as well. Raichu is not the strongest of an electric type, but it does provide some coverage with such as Fake Out. Of course, it just gets the basic electric type coverage, and then we have to run Hidden Power Ice basically, or it does get Grass Knot, but that's not helpful for every Pokemon. It does get Nasty Plot if I think I can sweep with Raichu, which would be interesting. It gets access to Surf because the special Surfing Pikachu from way back in the day. Raichu also gets access to Wish. I didn't even notice that before. That's interesting, but we're not going to be investing HP into Raichu, so that's not of use. Raichu was mainly picked up so we have one electric immunity and an electric Pokemon, and also for the speed stat. And for the last Pokemon for the Charlotte Carbinks, I saw a hidden potential in this Pokemon. I wanted a Poison type just to pick up Poison Spikes or Toxic Spikes just in case they were out on the field. And also Poison is just a pretty good coverage for, say, Fairy types on the other team that might want to try and take on my Kyurem Black. So we picked up Arbok. Arbok, at first you're thinking why? It's not even good in the anime, but Arbok shows interest to me. It's got that Intimidate, which is pretty helpful. It lowers the opponent's special attack, of course, and Unnerve if I want to run physical, and I think they might have a berry. Arbok has a pretty good move pool, actually, which is kind of ridiculous. I can set up with Coil if I want, but mainly I'm looking at like a banded Arbok. Thing with Crunch, Gunk Shot, Earthquake, Fire Fang, Ice Fang, Thunder Fang, I believe? No Thunder Fang, but it gets Sucker Punch and also gets Switcheroo. I am not capable of talking at this point. Switcheroo so that I can switch with the target so I can get rid of my Choice Band, and then anything that's trying to wall or block is now limited to what it can do. It's just an interesting Pokemon that I wanted to try. Also gets access to Pursuit Trap and some stuff. That'd be interesting. Dragon Tail, so once again if I got that Spice or Rocks up, team's just racking up damage over time. So that was the last Pokemon for our draft, and overall I like my draft. It is very strong offensively, but it does lack some defense. I am very limited to hazards on my Pokemon. Mainly, I don't want to run rocks on Excadrill normally, so I'm forced to bring Gigalith if I want rocks, which is not always ideal for my team, because I'm trying to counter them as best, so if something's good against Gigalith, I'm not really capable of bringing rocks that week. And I don't want to bring Rapid Spin on Excadrill all the time, which is kind of unfortunate considering I do have some Pokemon that are very weak to rocks. My team is also very grounded, only having a few resistances, 2 immunities, and then the rest being super effective. But overall, I think this team is going to do very well. I had Jock tell me that Jock, another coach in the league, think that the games are going to be won by me, but only by a little bit because I'm not going to be able to handle hits, but I'm always going to get a kill whenever I bring in one of my threats, like Exploud, Kyurem Black, Excadrill, Mega Pinsir, Chandelure. Yeah, there's just so many threats on my team. I'm looking forward to see what power rank we're going to get post-draft, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the team. I will have my team builds up for every week, and then the live battle. Hopefully it can be live. Sometimes it might be post-battle. But so that will be 2 episodes for the APA every week. Look forward to it. First week we were taking on Cloud Nimbus and the Nashville Infernapes, I believe. I will have a team build going up for that in a few days after my match with him, of course. And that will be it. I'll see you soon.